Hello all. Hello YouTubers. Welcome everybody. Let me get TikTok rolling and we are good. TikTok's actually ready to go. Go live. There we go. Yep. I had everything ready today. I was good. I mean, I'm starting late, but I always start a little late. But I had everything ready to go. There's TikTok. Woo woo. Oops, hang on. TikTok, flip my mirror. There we go. Boom and boom. TikTok. Woo! Ooh la la. How we doing today? Hello, TikTokers, YouTubers, Discordians. Hello, Rusty. Hello, everybody. Okay, stop moving my mic around. Hey, Sam. Actually, I'm going to put my fan on since my room is still doing that back and forth between hot and cold here. But yeah, we've got it's funny. There isn't a ton of news, but there's important news. We do have important news today, so that will be interesting. All right, start the fan. Excellent. Thermostat. I think we're okay with the thermostat. I don't know. Maybe a little cooler. I don't want it to get too cold, but you never know. Anyway, welcome everybody. How we doing? I'm John Aravosis. This is my show. Thank you, Sandria, Mushu, Terry, Pains, or Pen, Richard. Thank you guys for all the gifts. Welcome everybody. So, yeah, we've got, there's a lot of news today. I'm looking here. Well, there's a good amount. I wouldn't say, okay, maybe not a lot. There's news. Anyway, we're going to talk about it. Actually, we could even start with the big news. I think we start with the Ukraine news because it's kind of the big news today. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Feisty. Thank you, Ash and Karis. I just kind of, maybe, you know what? No, let me start with some of the other news because I don't like to start with the big news because when we start, we've got fewer people here right away. And then people kind of come and join us as we go on. So let's do that. Let's do the other news first. Just remember Saturday, we have our Eurovision song Sasha's up on the couch, kind of moving around. We have our Eurovision Song Contest hangout party, watch party for the finals Saturday, starting at 3:00 Eastern time US. That's 3:00 Washington, D.C., New York City time, going till around 6:30 is what I remember. So we're going to hang out 3.5 hours. Damien's around. I'm going to ask him to come over. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Joshua. So hopefully, that'll be a fun. We know it'll be fun. Hey, Kaylee, thank you for the hearts. And Corzo in Sweden. Norrköping. I don't know that. I've been to Sweden twice, but only been to Stockholm, Gotland, and out west. And I never remember the name of the town. It's a big university town in western Sweden from Stockholm. Go just west of Sweden, kind of on the border there with Norway. Or on the border with Norway? I think so. Yeah. Thank you, Laddie. So, yes, I'm not sure how I'm going to watch. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Running. I'm not sure how I'm going to. Oh, Gothenburg. There you go. Yep, it was Gothenburg. Yep. Gunther, our font of knowledge that you are. Nope, Gothenburg was where it was. Yep. Pretty town. We were there sort of for the prime ministerial campaign. Any case, I don't know what I'm watching it on. We're going to find out when we get there, but I'll either watch it on TV or on the computer or whatever. Hey, Canada. So, yeah, let's, I'm trying to think, let's start with some of the Trump news or the Trump and the international news, and then let's segue into Ukraine. There's kind of some big Ukraine news right now. Basically, Putin has just screwed over Donald Trump. He's chickened out. He's not going to the summit tomorrow, but I want to wait till we get a few more people before we get into it, because then people can be like, hey, repeat what happened. So let's jump in with other stuff first. Trump, oh my God. Trump is doing something today unbelievably evil, what he's doing. And honestly, it really brings into question why he's doing it, because it's something Vladimir Putin really wants and something America would never do, but Trump's doing it. Thank you, Adventures. Thank you, Running. Keep the gifts coming, by the way, guys. I hate to keep harping on it, but the gifts are what pay the bills. Most of my income from doing the show is actually the gifts. So please keep them coming. Trump administration announced today it is going to be sending back to Russia a Russian dissident, a woman who fled Russia in 2022 and was vocally critical and protesting the war in Ukraine. Trump is going to send her back to Russia, where she will certainly be imprisoned, and she might be a lot worse than that. This is something America would never do under Democrats or Republicans. Trump is doing it. It is something Vladimir Putin would very much want. Why Trump is doing it, I'll let you guess, but let me give you a little more details. So this is a woman who is a top scientist. She is actually one of the top scientists in America. She is Russian. As I said, she fled Russia in 2022. She's Russian. She was doing research at Harvard, which I think is why Trump is trying to screw her over and get her imprisoned, because she was working at Harvard, and Trump is trying to destroy Harvard because Trump is trying to destroy Harvard. Who knows why Trump's trying to destroy Harvard? He claims he's doing it because of anti-Semitism. He clearly is doing it because he doesn't want Harvard to, ironically, he doesn't want Harvard to have any civil rights protections, but also he's trying to destroy anything in America that is liberal, is left-wing, is democratic. So he's trying to destroy now Harvard University. And he's trying to destroy the researchers at Harvard so people don't come to Harvard. The problem is what's going to happen, and we're going to get in, this is a really big story. No one's going to come work in America at all. No researchers are going to come to America from abroad if Trump is going to arrest them and send them to dictatorial hellholes like Russia. That's what's happening. He's destroying our universities. He's destroying research in America and scientific research. We are at the head of scientific research in America, not in America, in the world, I should say. So here's what happens. This is the woman you might have heard. She's Russian. She fled Russia in 2022 because she disagrees with Putin and vocally protested Putin, which again can get you killed. And at the very least, it will get you imprisoned for 5 years in Russia. At the very least, it could get you killed, but she will go to prison probably for 5 years when Trump sends her back for protesting Putin. She was researching at Harvard. Oh, she was a top cancer research. The project she was working on was an incredibly, apparently advanced cancer research that could save like lots of people. And Trump is getting rid of her. So she goes to France on vacation. She's doing her cancer research at Harvard. She goes to France. She comes back to the US. Remember, she's the woman who had like some frog embryo samples in her bag. Actually, the story isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. She comes to the border. She didn't understand the customs form. She didn't mention, because she's a researcher, that she brought back these frog embryos from France for her research. She didn't mention it on the form. But the guy at customs says, because I think he saw she was a researcher or whatever it was, said, "Do you have any biological samples with you?" And she says, "Yes, I do. I have these frog embryos I picked up in France." So she didn't write it on the form because she didn't understand where to put it on the form. But he asked her, and she didn't say no. If she said no, he would have let her through. She said, "Yes, I do. I have these frog embryos." And he said, the guy at the border, the U.S. border guard, totally illegal what he did. The judge already said it's totally illegal what he did. He says, "I'm revoking your visa, and we're sending you to prison, and then we're sending you back to Russia." He revoked her visa at the border. Now, typically what she did would have been a minor infraction. It might have been a fine. It might have been something like that. Mind you, she told him, he asked her, and she told him, "Yes, I've got these embryo samples." They throw her in prison for 3 months. For 3 months, she's been in prison, guys. For 3 months, Trump threw this woman in prison. And today announced he's sending her back to Russia. He's sending her back to Russia, where she is going to be imprisoned for probably 5 years. And she may very likely be killed for being a political dissident. I am blown away at this. Absolutely blown away. It is unfathomable what he is doing. America, especially political dissidents from Russia, like our history is saving people who escaped Russian dictatorships, whether it was the Soviets or afterwards, that we are kicking people out of the country who are escaping the Russian dictatorship. And we're sending them back to Russia where they will at least be imprisoned and possibly killed. Blows my mind that he is doing this. I mean, and again, he's doing this to punish Harvard. He's doing it to punish Harvard. He wants to destroy Harvard. But what he's going to do is he is going to destroy scientific research in America overall, which is just, I mean, I can't even, guys, I'm trying to say this in a way that TikTok won't get upset, because TikTok kind of censors things a lot. So unfortunately, I have to self-censor when I talk about these topics because TikTok does these things. But it is very difficult to come up with an explanation as to why an American president would do this. Any explanation that isn't corrupt doesn't make sense. An American president would not send a woman back to Russia who is a Russian dissident. He wouldn't, especially if she wasn't a criminal. She didn't really commit. She wasn't like a murderer or something, right? An American president wouldn't do this unless the American president were working for one of America's enemies. It's the only thing that makes sense. Otherwise, it makes no sense what he's doing. It is the most, exactly, it boggles my mind. It is such a human rights abuse, but also we can kiss scientific research in this country goodbye now. I've said this before. If you're a foreigner, don't come here. I do not think it is safe for you to come here. I do. I think on vacation, I think for research, I think for work, I think for education. I do not think it is safe to come here if you are not an American. I really don't. I would go to Canada. I'd go to Europe. I'd go to the UK. I mean, Canada is welcoming a lot of people, researchers. France recently said they wanted researchers to go there. I mean, this is incredibly bad for our country to lose these researchers. I don't think you should step foot in our country. Let me rephrase this. I don't think it is safe for you to step foot in our country. I want you to step foot in our country. I don't think it is safe for you to come here if you're not American now, because of what Trump is doing. It boggles my mind. He is so destroying our universities. He is so, thank you, Succeed. I was always wondering what that's a new gift, and I was dying to see what it was. Thank you and that was a generous gift, by the way, as well. So thank you for that. Thank you, Nihu, as well. It really is. I mean, I don't even know what to say with stuff like this, guys. I am reminded of that BBC interview I had when Trump got elected the first time. And it was the election night. I always tell this story, but it was election night. And Trump just got elected in 2016. And I was interviewing on the BBC. And the BBC made me wait like an hour and a half, 2 hours late. It was like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I was exhausted in New York City. And they finally, again, they made me wait 2 hours. They finally get me on. They asked me, well, some people are worried. Do you think people should be worried about Donald Trump being president? I said, yes. I said, he's going to do everything he promised to do. He's going to be a disaster. He's going to be a disaster for America. He's going to be a disaster for the world. And the BBC host goes, oh, John, don't you think that's overreacting? And this university professor jumps in and goes, yes, I think John is overreacting. We have checks and balances in America. Congress won't let Donald Trump do anything crazy. And the BBC host then said, well, thank you for joining us, John. Clearly, I'm talking, maybe I talked 20 seconds. Again, they had me wait 2 hours. It was 2 a.m. And because I said Donald Trump was going to be a disaster and Donald Trump was going to be a disaster for the world and a disaster for America, the BBC cut me off and kicked me off the show. And I literally said, I'm not exactly a crazy person, right? Like, I said it like I'm telling you here. And they continued with the professor. And of course, I was right. And here we are. And this time around, it is going to be 1,000 times worse. We are only 3 or 4 months into this, 3 months into this now. He will do anything and everything he thinks he can get away with. He will try anything, I think. And I fear just that. His first term, remember during his first term, Trump had asked his top general, General Milley, about shooting innocent protesters, shooting peaceful protesters, about shooting them, about whether the U.S. military could shoot them. And Milley said that would be illegal. And Trump said, well, what about just shooting them like in the arms or legs? And this was, you can Google this. This is a well-known fact about Trump from General Milley himself, who's confirmed it, who was our top general in the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This was Trump's first term that he had proposed shooting peaceful protesters with the U.S. military. During his first term is when Trump tried to violently overthrow the government on January 6th. It is, absolutely boggles my mind here. Absolutely boggles my mind. Good news. NATO allies are getting together and trying to, no, this is something good that Trump did. He does do occasional good things between destroying our country, destroying the world. But the NATO allies are getting together for a proposal to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP. Basically, meaning Trump had called on NATO, and I agree with him on this one, although it's going to screw Trump a little bit, but Trump has called on NATO countries to spend the size of their defense budget should be equal or greater than 5% of the size of their economy. So whatever size their economy is, you take 5%, that should be their defense budget. Currently, the goal in NATO is 2%. Now, this was a goal decided like 20 years ago. 8 NATO countries out of 32, that's 1/3. No, that's not 1/3, that's 1/4. Yeah, 1/4. 25% of NATO countries still have not met the 2% goal that we established 20 years ago. Okay. So they're trying to establish 5%. It was Trump's idea. Not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, really. So, anyway, so there we go. Germany. This is a horrifying story. I meant to do a video on this. I'm going to do it when I get done. I'll do another video for TikTok. The Russians have done it again. The Russians are practicing bringing down airplanes again, civilian airliners. We have Palestinians trying to interrupt our show. What a surprise. That's really sweet of you. The Russians are trying to bring down more airliners, civilian airliners. They got caught again. They did this a couple of years ago. The Europeans caught them. They were basically practicing how to set civilian airliners on fire mid-flight over the Atlantic on the way to Canada and on the way to America. And it caught a plane on fire that was going like from, there were 2 different ones. One was, let me pull up my notes here because I can get this to you. I can get this to you correctly. One was a fire that broke out in an airport hub run by DHL Courier in Leipzig, Germany. And another was a flammable package that was sent from Lithuania and was marked for a fake address in the UK. And basically the Russians took these packages and they would fill them with super flammable materials. I forgot what it was. It was some chemical that like catches on fire like that. And the idea was not an explosion, but imagine a highly flammable chemical that as soon as you put a match to it, it just explodes in fire. Well, the Russians were doing it as testing. The Russians were trying to test what the best way was to set a DHL package on fire, or a FedEx or a UPS package, right? International courier. What the best way was to set it on fire in an airplane while flying to Canada and flying to America was the goal, because we clearly intercepted the intelligence. The experts said at the time that it would have brought the plane down, that the planes would have come down over the Atlantic had they caught on fire. The extent of the fire that this material caused would have brought the planes down because it would have been out of control. Would have been absolutely out of control. Well, the Russians did it again. They literally, this is what is so scary, guys, because we're letting them get away with this stuff. They are committing not just acts of terrorism, which these are, they're committing acts of war. These are acts of war. And when you let countries get away with it repeatedly, they keep doing it. The Russians did it again. Let me read this to you. This is via the Kyiv Independent, but I'm sure it's other sources too. German authorities have accused what's interesting is the Russians got Ukrainians to do it. I'm sure they're Russian Ukrainians. They got Ukrainians to do it because, Russia being Russia, right? You're trying to be as obnoxious as possible. You get Ukrainians who are sympathetic to Russia. German authorities have accused 3 Ukrainian nationals of an alleged Russia-orchestrated plot to send out parcels with explosives in Europe, according to Der Spiegel. 2 of the suspects were reportedly detained over the weekend, and the third on May 13th during police raids in Germany and Switzerland. They are suspected of plotting aggravated arson and bombing attacks on behalf of the Russian government. The investigators said that the suspects had already begun preparations by sending test parcels with GPS trackers to Ukrainian addresses. They are believed to have purchased the trackers in Switzerland and sent them to 2 other men in Cologne and Constance, Germany, from which they were shipped to Ukraine. I'm kind of blown away that we keep letting Russia get away with this. The really scary thing is Russia has been testing repeatedly now how to blow up like DHL packages mid-flight. DHL packages go on commercial passenger flights. Commercial passenger flights that you and I take have packages on them. Those packages that Russia was planning to blow up on its way to Canada and the US very easily could have been on one of our commercial flights, right? I mean, really unbelievable. Thank you, Allie, for the chocolate. I mean, really freaking unbelievable that they did this. I mean, believable that Russia did this, but also, it's what is important. There's a number of things important about this story, but I think maybe the most important. I often say this. This is what the Russian government is. This is who the Russian government is, and you need to know this, right? It tells you who they are dealing with Ukraine. It tells you who they are dealing with Europe. It tells you who they are in terms of the threat they pose to Europe going to war. It tells you who they are dealing with negotiations with the United States, or who they are in the Middle East or Latin America or Africa. They are a country that has been caught twice now practicing blowing up commercial airlines going to the US and Canada. And in this case, probably maybe Germany and other countries as well. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about who they are as a government. Really, really just unbelievable. All right, what else we got? I mean, again, we're going to switch to the Ukraine stuff in a second. Okay, let's switch to the Ukraine stuff. So it is day 1,174 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation in Ukraine. The big news tonight is thank you. Who is that from? Hellianne. Thank you, Hellianne. Thank you, Marsha, as well. Oh, T-Stens and Marsha as well. Thank you, guys. So keep the gifts coming, by the way. As I've said, I do this for a living. Your gifts pay the bills. Keep them coming. Thank you all. Thank you, Paul. I say P-A-U-L, Paul, for the gift. So Putin chickened out. He's not going. He's not going to the peace talks tomorrow with Ukraine. He chickened out. This story is fascinating. It is fascinating. Thank you. Is that the flower? Oh, that is the flower bundle. Thank you, Gigi. No, that's not Gigi. That was Gigi did get a rose. That was Marsha. Thank you, Marsha, for the bouquet. That was really pretty. Thank you for that. Putin chickened out. He's not going to the peace summit tomorrow that he called for. It's Putin's peace summit. He's not going. He chickened out. But what's interesting is he's screwing over Donald Trump. This is an embarrassment for Trump, which is fascinating that Putin's doing this. So let's step back at how this came about. Okay. Over the weekend, the Europeans and the Americans, the Trump gets together with the Europeans and tells Putin, you better agree to the 30-day ceasefire or we're going to put sanctions on you, more sanctions, very bad sanctions. Ukraine has already said they agreed to the 30-day ceasefire. Putin was refusing. So Trump gets together with the Europeans and they put out a joint communique, joint statement saying Russia had better accept the 30-day ceasefire or America and Europe are putting sanctions. A day later, Putin turns around and says, no, I'm not going to do the ceasefire. But what I will do is let's just have a peace summit, me and Zelensky in Turkey on Thursday, tomorrow. And Trump falls for it, right? So Trump goes, oh, okay, then let's skip the sanctions. Let's skip the ceasefire that we just agreed to 24 hours ago, but let's skip it. And instead, Putin's right. Let's have a peace summit with Zelensky and Putin on Thursday in Turkey. And Trump tweets out, Zelensky, you better accept. So Zelensky accepts and says, okay, I'll meet with Putin on Thursday. And what happens? Putin starts freaking out. Because Putin didn't want a peace summit. Putin thought Zelensky was going to say no. And Zelensky said yes. So for the last several days, we've been dealing with the Russians getting increasingly chicken and increasingly afraid of sitting down for peace talks with Ukraine. And finally, they chickened out entirely. So what we found out tonight was Putin chickened out. He's not going. Lavrov, the foreign minister, chickened out. Even he's not going. They're sending some guy I've never heard of who's an aide to Putin. He's like some guy who works for Putin. And they're sending him instead. Now, again, this is multiple levels of chicken from Putin. Again, it did because Putin is little mastermind KGB guy. For him to screw up like this is pretty fascinating. I mean, it's Putin's idea. And Putin went, well, I'm not doing that. But what he just did to Trump, okay, think about this. Trump said, I want a ceasefire or I'm putting sanctions. Putin says, how about we have a peace summit? And Trump goes, okay, I'll hold off on my sanctions. I'll hold off on my ceasefire. And we'll do your idea instead, Vlad, to have a peace summit on Thursday in Turkey. Putin then turns around and goes, no, I don't think we're going to do the peace summit after all. Right? And And Donald Trump is sending Marco Rubio. Donald Trump is sending his top foreign policy advisor, his top Secretary of State, we call it in America. It's the American version of the foreign minister. So Donald Trump is sending his foreign minister. Is Putin sending his foreign minister? Nope. Putin wouldn't even send Lavrov. Even Lavrov isn't allowed to go, who's Putin's foreign minister. So he's not only embarrassed Trump by getting Trump to back off and then pulled the rug out from under Trump, but he's refusing to even send anybody equal to the guy Trump is sending, because Trump is sending Rubio, his Secretary of State. Putin isn't even going to send Rubio's counterpart, which is, in diplomatic circles, it's very rude. So in other words, Putin isn't going because Putin wanted to be rude to Zelensky. So, right, Ukrainian head of state, lower guy working for Putin. Rubio's flying all the way over there. So instead of the Russian foreign minister meeting with Rubio, it's lower guy who doesn't matter. I mean, I am fascinated by this. Absolutely fascinated by this. Because, I mean, as I said, Putin's a chicken. He's a big chicken for doing this, but it's also really interesting to me what the insult this causes to Donald Trump. Now, let's talk about Donald Trump. The problem is Trump has, you'll be surprised to hear, making some very bad noise lately about this whole affair. Putin wants Trump to go away. Putin wants Trump to pull out. Putin wants Trump to take his marbles and go home. Thank you, Marsha, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Putin wants Trump to leave, to stop trying for peace, stop supporting Ukraine, and just move on and deal with other issues, while Putin just keeps invading Ukraine and taking land and killing people. So Trump, on the other hand, says he wants, peace. Trump says he wants a peace treaty. Trump says he wants negotiations. Trump says he wants a ceasefire, 30-day ceasefire. Putin wants Trump to leave. So what does Trump do? Trump now is saying, if Putin won't agree, this was like he said a couple of weeks ago, but now last couple of days, Trump's aides are saying in the last couple of days, if Putin won't agree to do all of this, then Trump is just going to leave, which is exactly what Putin has been demanding from the beginning. So in other words, Trump is proposing a ceasefire and negotiations. Putin, on the other hand, wants Trump to just leave and stop supporting Ukraine and go. So I'm trying to sort of how to explain this well. Basically, oh God, Putin is doing exactly, no, not Putin. Trump is doing exactly what Putin wants, basically. Okay. I mean, it's so hard to explain. I've got like 5 thoughts going on in my head. How do I explain this well? I'm doing a shitty job tonight, guys. Sorry about that. Thank you, Marsha. Trump wants Putin to agree. I'm going to try this one more time. Trump wants Putin to agree to the peace treaty. He wants Putin to agree to a ceasefire. Putin, on the other hand, doesn't want any of that. He just wants Trump to pull out, stop funding Ukraine, and go home. So Trump is now saying, Vladimir Putin, if you don't agree to the ceasefire, if you don't agree to sit down and talk, if you don't agree to all of these things you don't want, Vladimir Putin, I'm going to do exactly what you want, which is go home and stop supporting Ukraine. Why would Putin agree to a ceasefire? Why would Putin agree to a negotiation with Ukraine if he could simply say no and get what he wants, which is Donald Trump to go home and America to stop supporting Ukraine, right? So Trump screwed up entirely here. Trump told Putin, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to go home and do what you want. I mean, again, if I'm Vladimir Putin, I'd be like, okay, so either I can do what Trump suggests and have a ceasefire and a negotiation, both of which I don't want, or I can say no. And Donald Trump has already told me if I say no, he'll give me what I actually want, which is he'll stop making these demands and he'll just walk away and stop supporting Ukraine. Then I guess I'll just say no to Donald Trump. That's my point here. Putin totally ran over Donald Trump. Thank you, Marsha, for the trash panda. That was very cool. Kind of unbelievable. What else we got here? Russia's reportedly preparing for a major offensive in Ukraine, according to the Financial Times. That could be related to what we heard about with regards to, remember a couple of days ago, the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv was saying that they were getting ready for the Russians to launch a big missile attack. So it could be related to that. The U.S. Oh, this is great. The U.S. is opposing Zelensky's participation at the upcoming NATO summit in The Hague. This is the first time the U.S. has opposed Zelensky showing up, and it's the first time since Russia's invasion that Zelensky won't be present. So, as a suck up to Vladimir Putin, mind you, Putin just screwed Donald Trump over today, and in response, Trump is giving Putin more. He's giving Putin the researcher from Harvard, who's a Russian dissident. He's going to send her home to be arrested or worse. He's giving him Zelensky now and kicking Zelensky out of the NATO summit, which Zelensky has attended every NATO summit since the invasion. Trump's kicking him out. Again, right after Putin screwed Trump over. Perhaps not the way to impress the Russians. Thank you, Marcia. What else we got? Poland's National Research Institute has detected an alleged attempt to influence the upcoming presidential election in Poland through political advertisements on Facebook. The ads are coming from abroad, and they were intended to help one candidate. What a surprise. And finally, a Russian election monitor, a guy working for an organization overseeing Russian elections to keep them fair, just got sentenced to 5 years in prison in Russia. Because, again, his offense was working for an organization that monitored Russian elections to keep them fair. And he's getting 5 years in prison. Man. Unbelievable. All right, that's it for the news today. There wasn't much. I guess there wasn't as much news as I thought. I mean, I knew there wasn't a lot of news, but there were like some big stories. You know what I mean? These were not small stories. So anyway, oh my God. So yes, let's talk about all of this. Just very bad across the board. You know, I mean, this is really just very bad. Anyway, adjust my camera. There we go. Adjusting the camera a little bit down. Other world news, don't have any right now, Bethany. It's a big world. I can't cover it all. Political anxiety, I don't know, Lizzie. I don't know whether I do or don't deal with political anxiety well. I mean, I've been covering politics, or I've been working in politics for 40 years. So like this kind of horrible stuff happens every day. But at the same time, so like, I don't know if I've learned how to deal with it, or maybe it makes me very nervous and maybe it's not very healthy. I don't know. Canadian fires. I did not know Canada was on fire again. That's not very good. Thank you, T-Sten. I did not know Canada was on fire again. Previous years, we had the smoke here in Washington. Thank you, Bethany. We had the smoke here in Washington like last summer or the summer before. That crab always cracks me up. Thank you, Firebuster. Just because it looks so real crawling up. It's the weirdest gift. It's very cool. So yeah, we'll see if the Canadian fires again affect us in DC, but they did previously. Yeah, Powett. Or is it Powell or Powett? I'm trying to see what your name is there. Oh, it's Pavel probably. Oh, that's probably Pavel. I'm saying Powett. You're Polish, so I'm going with Pavel. Only because the last letter, I've never seen that before. Is that a Polish L with the line and the thing through it? It looks like a cross almost. I don't know what you do about it, honestly. Poland, you build up your military, you keep your alliances going with the rest of Europe. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Amy. And you just make sure that you keep yourselves as powerful as possible so the Russians don't dare come in, you know? I mean, you know, it's, oh man. Oh, that's right. Shoot, I meant to talk about that. Let me see if I can pull this up. Yes, this Democratic mayor just got elected in Nebraska. This was a big deal. I did want to talk about that. I grabbed the story last night, and then because it was last night, I forgot today when I was preparing this. Nebraska. I'll just find a good story on it and read it to you guys. Okay, we can do the New York Times story. Why not? Hang on. This is so Nebraska is one of the American states. I got it. My other American map that you guys made for me, I've got to pull it up and find. Listen to this. A Democrat, John Ewing Jr., appeared on track to win Omaha, Nebraska's mayoral race on Tuesday. A victory that would end a long period of Republican leadership in a politically divided city that has outsized importance in presidential elections. Mr. Ewing, the longtime treasurer of the county, was leading the mayor, a Republican who had been seeking a fourth term leading Omaha, which has nearly 500,000 residents and is Nebraska's largest city. Though the race was officially nonpartisan, the political affiliations of both candidates were well known to the voters. Hold on, I'm trying to find the analysis here. Okay, this is stupid. The New York Times is doing what the New York Times does, and they're kind of not giving us analysis to be, they're trying to be fair and not giving us analysis, which is not helpful. Let me read National Public Radio. Oh, he's the first elected black mayor of Omaha as well. Let me find a little. Okay, seriously? Is there any analysis here from anybody? Washington Post. They should be better than the New York Times about that. I'm just trying to find like some analysis here. Omaha and its suburbs have played a unique role in national politics as the blue dot in a conservative state that wields an unusual amount of power in presidential context. Though Democrats outnumber Republicans in the city limits of Omaha, Stothert kept her seat. She's a Republican, or was a Republican, kept her seat over 3 terms by building a broad-based coalition that included the city's many independent voters. But the guy who won Ewing's campaign and Democrats sought to tie her to economic uncertainty and anger about Trump, whom she backed in 2024. Let me see. The election was a fresh test of voters' attitudes in a politically competitive slice of the country. Anyway, bottom line is it's very interesting. And the question is whether it's a bellwether for Republicans across the country. Who knows? But it's good news for Democrats because it very well could be something, could be something. So that's good. Anyway, so that's good. Yeah. I meant to mention that story. Sorry about that. Is Pavel a Czech name? I don't know. Pavel from Poland? Is Pavel a Czech? I mean, Pavel is a Czech name, but it may also be a couple different places of Eastern Europe as well. Or I shouldn't say it is a Czech name. I think it's a Czech name, right? What is good for, I like that EP. I like when Pavel is also Polish. I like when one person says, wait, I came in late. What's that story? I will tell you, by the way, but it makes me laugh a little bit. Like, well, I was going to say as if I'm going to tell the story over again for one person, but I am. The big mayoral race in Omaha, Nebraska, but it's been a 4-term Republican, and the Republican just lost to the Democrat. And it was the first time in a long time a Democrat won. It also was a black Democrat, which is interesting. And Democrats tried to tie the mayor to Trump because the mayor endorsed Trump. And the question is to what degree this is a bellwether at all for, Republicans overall and Trump and all of that. So very interesting. Oh, the last letter is a W. Oh, so it's Pavel. Pavel. I'm going to say Pavel. That's what that, because the last letter is like an L with a line through it. To honestly, it looked like a cross to me. So would it be like Pavel? Like Pavel? I'm saying W at the end. So it sounds like Pavel, but with a W. That's my guess. Polish names are very hard. I know the Russians use Pavel. Yeah. Polish names are very hard for Americans. I had a teacher, Mr. Resch. He was my math teacher in high school, Mr. Resch. But his name was spelled something like WRSCZSCZ. There were no vowels in his last. It was Polish. There were no vowels in his last name, and it was absolutely fascinating. Paul. Okay, we'll call you Paul. That works for me. But anyway, like I said, it was absolutely fascinating though. Resch. WRSCZSCZ. I'm pretty sure was the spelling. So kind of fun. Yes, Putin itself doesn't mean anything in Spanish. I mean, I know the other words in Spanish. I don't want to say them because I never know how TikTok feels about such things. But Putin itself doesn't mean something in Spanish, does it? I don't want to get into these bad discussions on like I said, on Discord, on TikTok. Oh, it means lame. It means lame? Putin? Well, Poutine always cracks me up. Poutine in French always makes me laugh. It sounds like a bad word. Okay. Well, I know because Putin. It sounds like you're saying the other word, right? Eres un Putin. Right, hijo de Putin. Exactly. Exactly. No updates on Pakistan and India. I haven't really heard anything. I mean, they had that ceasefire that was kind of breaking down the other day, but then we didn't hear anymore, which makes me wonder. Let me just Google and see. There was really no news on it today. India, Pakistan. Let's see. That's a good question. Alexa, lower the temperature 1 degree. A little cold. Yep, India and a day ago or 12 hours ago, India and Pakistan talk big, but satellite imagery shows limited damage. India pushed back on Trump's claiming. Oh, this is good. India pushes back on Trump claiming credit for India-Pakistan ceasefire. I knew it. I knew it. Remember, Trump claimed credit for the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, and India and Pakistan, neither of them gave Trump credit. And a lot of us were going, is Trump lying about this? It sounds like Trump's lying about it. India came out and basically said Trump was lying about it, which, what a surprise. Yeah, so there's no update on the India-Pakistan stuff, really. Pope? Oh, that's it. Was it the Pope? That'd be interesting if it was the Pope. Let me pull this here. This is funny. Steve, I know Steve Bannon, MSNBC. The president boasted about the strategy he claimed he used to get India and Pakistan to have a ceasefire. India effectively said he had no idea what he was talking about. Let me see here. Where are the Indians? Let me see here. NBC News reported the Indian government on Tuesday disputed Donald Trump's claim that the U.S. mediated ceasefire between India and Pakistan came about in part because Trump had offered possible trade concessions. Addressing a weekly news conference, Randhir Jaiswal, the spokesman for India's foreign ministry, said top leaders in New Delhi and Washington were in touch last week following the Indian military's intense standoff, but there was no conversation on trade. The issue of trade didn't come up in any of these discussions. So basically, Trump is saying, I bought them off with some trade. And the Indians are going, no, he didn't. Again, surprise. Butterflies. Thank you, Max House, for the butterfly. And hey, Yoshani or Yohani for the heart. I'm just guessing how to pronounce your name, but I'm gonna guess that's probably better than Yoshani. Jersey Girl. Thank you for the little love thing. What else? We're a little, like I said, it wasn't as much news. I mean, there was important news. Well, I figured Yohani, right? I mean, because Yoshani would be too American. So now I'm Greek, so we have a little bit of a huh, but not like you guys do. The Arabs and the Jews have got a stronger huh than we do in Greek. But it's, well, in English, we say the letter chi, but it's not k, it's huh. Well, Lizzie, I did talk about it the other day. I don't think there's any news about it. Trump arrested the New Jersey mayor, or the mayor of a town in New Jersey, basically because he disagreed with Trump on immigration and it embarrassed Trump. So Trump had him arrested, which is a really fascist and illegal thing to do. So yes. And now is talking. I don't think anybody else has been done. Anything else has happened since. Trump then threatened to arrest the several members of Congress who also went and disagreed with him. But I don't know that there's been any news about that. Let me see here. The Newark mayor is now claiming in a video that he didn't trespass and he was invited inside, which I believe. What else we got here? Russian helicopter. Oh, that was interesting. From what I know about this, thank you, Marta. Again, I may not be the expert on this. The Estonians were trying to intercept a ship that was going to Russia. My guess is probably thinking it's part of Russia's shadow fleet, illegally bringing oil or whatever it was, but illegally trading with Russia. And the Estonian military tried to get the ship to, stop. And the ship ignored the Estonians and kept going to Russia. At the same time, there was something with a Russian helicopter entering Estonian airspace as well. I believe the stories were tied together. Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the stories were tied together, Marta, right? That basically the Russians were kind of threatening and all of that. Big surprise. Thank you, Yohani. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know anything about Kilmar Garcia. Yeah, he's the guy from Maryland. Maryland? Maryland, I think, who Trump illegally deported to El Salvador. Yeah, it was a Russian fighter. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah, it was a Russian fighter, not a helicopter. Yeah. Sorry. It was a fighter, exactly. Yeah, it was a bullshit story, Flying Medic. Flying Medic is talking about a story that looked like it was bullshit. I'm just telling you in advance because I don't like repeating stories that are BS. But it was a story that the Russians were putting lots of men and equipment on the Finnish border, except only crazy people were reporting it. Callum mentioned it to me, by the way, and I said, pull up who's reporting on it. The people reporting on it, I'm going to pull up who's reporting. Literally, only crazy people reported on that story. That's how you know it's a bullshit story. Always check the source of these rumors. Never believe these rumors if you can't find a real source that can. My dog groomer. Oh, Thursday. Hold on. My dog groomer says she can come Thursday. I don't know if she means tomorrow. Sasha needs a haircut. So if she can come tomorrow, I'm writing to her right now. I'm like, yes, please. So Callum, where is this? I sent this to, oh, here we go. These are the sources for the story. News from Finland, the Helsinki Times, listen to these places, the Helsinki Times, the Economic Times, the Hindustan Times. I'm going to wager all three of those are fake publications. The Economic Times I've seen before. I'm going to guess the Economic Times are the crazy, what are they called? The crazy Chinese people. Well, you know who I mean. Who are they? The cult, the Chinese cult. What are they called? I think that's the Economic Times. The Hindustan Times, also crazy people, as I recall. Helsinki Times, I'm going to guess it's the same crazy people because they have little fake newspapers everywhere. The Sun, I mean, big deal. I don't know if it's the Moonies. No. Is the Communist Party of China? I thought it was that. What? I don't care who it is. They're crazy people. They're fake. It's not the Moonies. It's not the Moonies. It's the fake papers. The Sun reported it. They're not credible. And then Newsweek picked up the rumors and reported it, but Newsweek isn't real anymore either. Remember, I told you Newsweek got sold. Newsweek is no longer a credible news source. Falun Gong. Thank you, Andy. That's what I was talking about. I think it's a Falun Gong publication. All of the sources are crazy people. When all of the sources are crazy people, that means the story is probably not Epic Times. You're right. Epic Times is the one I'm thinking of. Yep. But all these other ones, Economic Times, Hindustan Times, Helsinki Times. If anybody hears from Finland, let me know. But I'm going to guess the Helsinki Times is, again, not a real publication. But yeah, when it's all fake publications and a British tabloid or two, but like the crazy tabloids like the Sun, then you know it's bullshit. So yeah, the story's BS. Yep. I mean, I don't know that I would know about it if it's true, but I simply go online and I look for any credible news source to be reporting on the story. I would never believe anything if credible news sources are not picking it up. When it's only the crazy people reporting it, it means it's crazy stuff. Typically. I did not see that, Taco Jim. Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House, is defending Congress buying stocks. It's pretty bad. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene recently, what did she do? She bought Palantir stocks like 8 days before they announced a big deal with the U.S. government, which she probably would have been aware of. It's pretty bad. Members of Congress should not be able to buy and sell stocks. They absolutely should have their stocks in a trust. And basically, you hire an advisor and the advisor invests the stock for you. And that's, it sucks, but that's what it is. The advisor invests the stock and that's life, But otherwise, right, and honestly, Pelosi has been bad on this too. Pelosi didn't want to ban members of Congress from doing this, and now the Republicans are doing the same thing. So I'm blaming both. For this one. So crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy stuff. Oh, thank you for the feather mask, Cynthia. That one is pretty funny, actually. On this one, it's a bad on both sides. Yes. Although this is pretty bad. Did he? Obama put everything into Vanguard when he was president? Oh, that's interesting. And did he just hire an advisor? Although honestly, you know what you also could do? You could just put everything in Vanguard, buy total stock and leave it. I mean, that would be probably just as good of a move for a politician to do. most of my stock really is in Vanguard Total Stock Market. I mean, it's not rocket science, you know. Canada's new prime minister has his in a blind trust, and they should. Members of Congress shouldn't be buying and selling stocks when they literally know what's going on. It's crazy. Yep, regular Admiral shares, exactly. Now, I admit I've played games buying things left and right, and I never should have. Every time I've bought other stocks, like I don't do as well. And I do. I'll spend some money buying other stocks and things. I never do as well. I have done my best just buying Vanguard Total Stock and leaving it alone, you know? But what do you do? And some international too. I believe in holding international because you never know. But, you know, if Russia attacked Finland, the thing is, if Russia attacked Finland, the Finns themselves have proven that they're rather deadly and can cause real problems for moose and squirrel. But also, Finland's a member of NATO. They'd be going to war. And whether Trump goes to war, who knows? But Europe would go to war. All the Scandinavian countries would go to war. Eastern Europe would go to war with Russia. The Brits would go to war. The French would probably go to war. And at that point, you've got World War III anyway, because if all those countries go to war with Russia, Trump could try to sit out. Good luck, Trump sitting out. You know? Yeah. So anyway. Sorry, now you've got me curious on something. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to read some of the conversation here people are having. Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah. All right. Any case. What else? Beep, 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 beep. Well, that's the other thing too. Yeah. Which exactly. Kathy's just saying Russia can't even deal with the war they're in. That's part of it. I saw that story and I went, so the story was, oh my God, the Russians are building massive numbers of installations and war stuff and troops along the border of Finland. They're getting ready to attack. And I'm looking at this going, really? The Russians have been stuck in a quagmire in Ukraine for over 3 years. They're slowly advancing, but it's going to take them another 100 years to take Ukraine. The Russians have lost 1 million men in Ukraine, and they don't even have enough men for their military that they've been having to use the North Koreans and Indians and a whole bunch of other people they kidnapped. But they're somehow going to move hundreds of thousands of troops to the Finnish border to go invade Finland at the same time. And what tanks are they going to use and what artillery are they going to use, right? It makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. You know, so anyway. Now, if I were Russia, maybe you build some facilities on the border with Finland, maybe, but you know, you're not doing well in Ukraine. I mean, again, the Ukrainians aren't doing well either, but Russia's not doing well either. I don't think I would be spending money preparing for a possible war with Finland in 20 years when I'm stuck in a real war with Ukraine right now that's not going so well. So yeah, thank you, Marsha. That's another reason why the story didn't make sense to me. Or if it did, if there was any truth to the story, it would have been Russia doing fake stuff along, like, you know, building, like in World War II, they had like balloons that looked like tanks and things, right? Like Russia putting those fake balloon tanks along the border or something just to freak out the Finns, right? You know. Anyway, thank you, Valerie, for the Rosa. What else we got, guys? Insider trading is illegal for ordinary American citizens. That is true. That is very true. What else, guys? Russia will go after the Baltics first? Probably, because Finland is way too big and scary. I think they'd go after, like, Estonia is on top, right? I think they'd probably, or they'd go after Lithuania and go after, whatchamacallit, I'm already forgetting again what it's called. I always get it mixed up with the Fulda Gap, but it's not the Fulda Gap. It's the one that's between Lithuania and Poland that the Russians want to grab. Help me out. Somebody will know this. The little bit of land. No, it's not Sunderland. No, it's got another name in English, at least. No. It's the name of the land area that Russia wants to steal. The corridor. Suwalki. There you go. Suwalki Gap. Exactly. I always think Fulda, because Fulda Gap was the was the concern of during the Soviet years where the Soviets would invade Germany, West Germany. Suwalki, exactly. Thank you, Pam Pam, for the gift. Is there really any threat to Poland? Kinda. I mean, well, here's the problem. And again, I'm not a military guy. You'd have to talk to I'm a foreign policy guy more, but Russia would love to go to war with Poland if they thought they could win. Russia would love to steal some Polish land if they could, just to be obnoxious, right? So Poland has to be careful. I still think, frankly, I think Trump could do it to Canada too. I think, Russia goes across the border and just grabs some land and holds on to it. And they've liberated Russian citizens in Eastern. Does Poland also have Russian citizens in Eastern Poland, the way the Baltic countries do? But I could see Russia doing that, and especially the Suwalki Gap, which is this area of land between Belarus and Kaliningrad. It's area of land that's Poland and Lithuania, and the Russians absolutely could go in and take that land. And what's NATO going to do? Start World War III over a piece of land? Maybe. What if Russia invades and says, okay, all done. You're really going to invade and use nukes and stuff against us, America and everybody, because of a little bit of land we stole? Would we? I hope we would, to be honest, but would we? Right? Thank you, Lara. No Russians in Eastern Poland. That's good. Okay. But that's good. That's good. Paul, as I'll call you, but that's good to hear at least. So at least he couldn't use that excuse, but I still think he's going to screw with Poland. The question becomes, well, let me ask you too. After World War II, did you get your land back from the Russians, the Poles? Because the Russians invaded, right? Did you get the land back from the Poles or from the Russians after World War II? Or are the Russians still occupying some land? Or the land got back? Because clearly my point is, clearly there was Polish land the Russians wanted. You got part of German land? Okay, that's good. Wait, but did the Russians get some Polish land? That was my question. Yeah. I guess all I'm saying is the Russians did covet Poland. Partially, right? Le Diplomat. I've never been to Le Diplomat, believe it or not. I know I'm supposed to. I've never been. People love it, and I should go, especially being a French bistro. Okay, let me hold on. Let me look for my map. I don't think I've got the map handy. Let me see 1 second. I don't know if I've got the map handy here. Where is my other map? What did I do with this thing? Arrgh. I'm not sure what I did with the map. Shoot. All right, I'm going to pull it up on my iPad. I went to Chicago all those months, and I can no longer find my Europe. My Europe map is around. Sketchy newspaper, exactly. My Europe map is around, but let me pull up, and I will show you. That's a good question about the Suwalki Gap and why it matters. Let's pull up Kaliningrad, and I will show you on my iPad. Kaliningrad. All right. All right. That's pretty good, actually. All right. Okay. So hopefully this is good enough to see. Okay. We've got Europe here. All of Europe, France, a little hard over France. Poland, Belarus, Ukraine's down here. Okay. Russia is this big, horrible thing here. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, all along the Russian border. Let's zoom in a little, okay? Belarus, Russia's big ally. Ukraine, Poland, Lithuania. Look at this chunk of land right here between Lithuania and Poland, okay? Here's Poland, here's Lithuania. There's this big chunk of land right here called Kaliningrad. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Kaliningrad, actually, the whole thing is Kaliningrad. Yeah, this big chunk of land called Kaliningrad. It's territory that the Russians stole in World War II. And Russia now still sits there. What is it? Königsberg. We call it Königsberg to piss off the Russians. But it is Russian land in the middle of Europe. Look at this. Surrounded by Lithuania, Poland. The Swedes are here. It's a little bit of Russia there. The Russians want a land bridge. Currently, they can only get there by sea or by air. The Russians want a land bridge. Belarus is Russia's. So here's Russia over here. Belarus is Russia's big ally. This is the land they want, right? Or the land they own, but they don't have a land connection to it. What they want to do, this is Belarus, this is Lithuania, this is Poland, this is Kaliningrad, Russia. The Russians want to grab this land, connecting Belarus to Kaliningrad. Belarus, their puppet ally, Kaliningrad, part of Russia. And there's this land right here. I'm going to zoom in. This land right here. Here's Belarus. Here's Kaliningrad. This is Poland and Lithuania. The Russians want to grab this land. Oops. They grab this land, and now they've got a land bridge connecting Belarus, their puppet, to Kaliningrad, which is Russia. Was that clear enough on the map? That's why the Russians want to grab the land. That's the concern. Yeah. Thank you, Heather, for subscribing. So that's the concern. Yeah. And imagine Russia invading, and Russia probably could invade and get the land because it's right there. Russia probably could get the land. Europe would then go to war to free it. Russia gets the land. I read this analysis a couple of years ago. I think it was a Finnish guy, but he was talking about, Russia invades. They take the land. They bomb some factories in France and Germany. They just drop a few bombs to freak out the Europeans, right? Bomb a couple of factories in France and Germany, maybe even Italy. And then, like in one day, they do it, they invade, and then they stop. And they say, okay, we're done. No more war. They grab that land and they go, okay, no more bombing. It's over. And they say, well, okay, Europe, if you want to invade and try to get the land back, then we're going to have a world war. And there's the risk of nuclear weapons, right? Russia, right? And then we'll be bombing more of your plants, or you can just accept that we took this land and leave it as is. And will Trump want to go to war and risk not even risk, will Trump want to launch World War III to get a little bit of land in Europe back from the Russians? No. Will the French and Germans? I don't know. The Brits? Yes. France and Germany, though? I don't know. Right? That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. So, oops, where was the, hang on here. Sketchy newspaper. Callum sent me a note. I'm laughing. So yes, very scary stuff. Eastern Prussia is now part of Russia, Kaliningrad, Poland, and Lithuania. Oh, that's right. Prussia, because Prussia was the precursor to Germany, right? Right. Poland and Lithuania. Interesting. Okay. Right. They may not have nukes actually working, but we can't risk it. Thank you, Marcia, for the gift. But that's the concern. Yeah. Is, like I said, Trump wouldn't do it. And would the Europeans want World War III with nuclear Russia over a little bit of land they stole, which is really bad, right? But Valley Guy asked, my question to that is, if nobody goes to war over it, what's going to stop Russia from doing it again? Exactly. You would be telling Russia, as long as you invade and take just a little bit of land and blow the hell out of a European factory, a French factory or a German factory, and then stop right away, the Europeans won't come after you and America won't come after you. So keep doing it, right? And this is the story of Russia committing all these acts of terrorism in Europe, right? They've twice now been caught trying to blow up commercial airliners with DHL packages. They've been caught twice. Nothing ever happens, right? What was the other one? Oh, they put a contract out to assassinate the head of Rheinmetall. The Russians were going to assassinate the head of Germany's largest defense contractor. And the Americans found out and told the Germans. What do we do? That was an act of war. They were going to assassinate the head of a top German company because the company was giving weapons to Ukraine. Not giving, selling weapons to Ukraine or whatever. They get away with it. We let them get away with it. Yep. Malaysia, MH171, exactly. The airliner that the Russians shut down, the civilian airliner. We let them get away with everything. Anyway, yeah, TikTok filtering messages. I can't do anything about it. I don't know what people said that TikTok felt the need to. Maybe they wrote something nasty about the Russians and TikTok didn't like the language, I'm guessing. Oh, Biden too. Yeah, Biden again, Biden was 50% wimp, 50% strong. He was not strong enough. So, what else? Oh, that's true. As Jason just said, Russia also put bounties on U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan. He did. They were. I don't know if it was 50,000 or was it? It was a lot more than I remember. I remember it being a lot more than I thought. I keep thinking 50,000, which means maybe it was 500,000. It was a huge amount. The bounty the Russians were putting, basically trying to get the Taliban to kill American soldiers, and were offering a huge amount of money to do it. Was it 50,000? I'm forgetting. I know HMS is saying 50. I remember thinking it was much more than I thought. Okay, now people are making stuff up again. Hold on. How much was the Russian bounty being put on the heads of U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, what was the actual amount of money the Russians were offering? We're asking ChatGPT. Let's see if it understands my question. ChatGPT's been very good lately. 200,000. People are coming up with all sorts of 200,000. Reports indicate that Russia's military intelligence, the GRU, allegedly offered bounties of 200,000 to Taliban-linked militants for each U.S. or coalition soldier killed in Afghanistan. Investigation suggests the GRU may have paid at least 30 million in total to incentivize these attacks. They're just horrible. I mean, they're absolutely horrible. You know? Yeah, I remember thinking, because I think 50,000, and then I remembered finding the number and it was much larger, 200,000. That makes sense. Yep. Yeah, just wild. Russian mercenaries, don't know. You don't hear about that. Well, a lot of the mercenaries were the Wagner group. They're in Africa now, and they've been destroyed anyway. You know? There we go. Anyway, what else? So Saturday, remember we said again, Saturday we are doing our hangout to watch the Eurovision Song Contest. I'm gonna yawn. Thank you. What the F for the heart gift. But yes, Eurovision. Oh, the semifinals were already? I mean, I'm not quite sure why a nuclear attack would be an option, Anna Maria. Anna Maria, I'd have to see like in what scenario you mean. Thanks, Jojo. Appreciate that. Eurovision's fun. I never watched Eurovision, and I know of it, but I never watched it. 3 years ago, I think you guys convinced me to watch it. It was fun. Then we watched it 2 years ago. I didn't like it as much because I didn't like the groups. Last year I was traveling, and then again, we're going to watch it. It's fun. We just hang out and we watch it. It's fun. It's goofy. But as I said, I found the bands are weird. I will say this, as an American, it's European kitsch. The word kitsch, it might be Yiddish. It might be German too. Kitsch, kitsch. That's how I find Eurovision. It's just over the top European. Is it Yiddish? Yeah, it's over the top. It's totally kitschy though, isn't it? Yeah. Oops. Oh, there we go. So campy is a good word. Yep. It is. Well, it's not just campy. It's kitschy because it is. It's kind of this over the top, just very funny. I assumed it was a German word as well. Is it, Stefan? That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Because kitsch looks like a German word to me. Yeah. So we use it in America as a Yiddish word, but anyway, it's a word in America. It's probably a bit of an elevated word. Like it's a bit of an educated word, I'd say, in the US. Like you might not use the word kitsch with the guy fixing your car. He may not know what it is, I suspect. But it's just because somebody told, when I first watched it, I was like, what the hell are these bands doing? And somebody said, oh, that's Eurovision. It's kind of over the top. It's kind of crazy. It's very funny. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, one of the ones that I love the most, I still watch the video, was the Moldovan group. That was wonderful. The band from Moldova. And they did the song about the train ride. And it is one of the most wonderful songs. I still listen to it occasionally because it's also a great video on YouTube. It's a wonderful, the name of the band has got like a name repeated twice. I'd have to look at my YouTube. I can't play it because YouTube will get upset if I play the song, but I can at least pull it up. And see, because it usually is on my home screen. Oh, not YouTube TV. YouTube. All right, it's got to download. Okay, let's download it again. But it's the name of the band is the two words repeated. It's Moldovan. They were in Eurovision 2 years ago, and they were very good. And that song is amazing. I think that song is absolutely amazing. It's fun because it's playing with like the traditional music pieces and stuff. All right. Oops, still downloading. All right, let's see. We shall see. I know. Well, TikTok does not freak out about music. YouTube does, which is very annoying. Hey, aloha. There we go. Here's the download. Like something tube, something like that. Tube or something. Come on. I can't believe none of you know who I'm talking about. Actually, I can probably just pull it up. Usually, it's funny. On my TV, it brings it up all the time. Now I'm not finding it on here. I'm going to Google this in about 2 seconds. I think I am. I'm going to Google this in about 2 seconds. Where does TikTok or does YouTube let me find the stuff that I saved? Playlists? No, favorites is what I want, right? My videos, my clips. Where are my favorites? YouTube, you're not making this very easy. Okay, I can't find my YouTube favorites. I want to zoom. There you go. Tabi has it. Zdobzizboob or something. Yeah. And it's called like The Train or something. It was the Train song from Moldova. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. It's a wonderful song. I think it is an absolutely amazingly wonderful song. That's what it was. Zdob. There we go. Yep. These guys who are a bunch of goofballs, clearly. Zdoob or whatever. And The Train. Yep. This is the one. I'm not going to play it, but I'll show you because, again, TikTok will get upset. Not TikTok. TikTok will be fine. YouTube will be upset if I actually play the song. Okay, come on. Skip. This was the I can't, again, I'm not going to play the music because TikTok will get, or YouTube will get upset, but this was it. And it's wonderfully filmed. It's like in Moldova, but it's kind of a neat, like, I just think the filming is really cool of this too. And it is a wonderful, it's called The Train. Trenuletul or something. Trenuletul or something like that. The Train. And it is this wonderful, watch it. I really mean it. It is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's such an exciting, just Google like Moldova, Eurovision, The Train. It should come up on YouTube. I think it is a wonderful song. Absolutely makes me so happy when I hear that song. So anyway, ABBA won multiple Eurovisions, didn't they? ABBA? I think so. Didn't they win like multiple times? I thought so. I love you guys. No, yes. Once. Okay, they just won once. Okay, just once. Oh, that's funny. I totally thought it was multiple times. Yep. Train between Romania and Moldova. Exactly. It's I love the energy of that song. The song is a train ride, but the song is actually like a roller coaster ride. It's such an amazing song. Yeah. And they didn't do very well at all. And I thought, honestly, to me, that was the best song of the show, you know? These guys did not win. No, these guys didn't even do well. I remember looking and I was like, oh my God, they should have been runner up at least. They were, I thought they were amazing. It was a wonderful song. Thank you, CJ. Thank you, Stephanie. And the video was even better. Thank you, Frankie. It's a great video. 50 years of ABBA. Okay, so tonight to pick the 20 groups to move forward to the finals. Gotcha. The best song never wins. Okay. All right. That's too bad. I I don't remember how. I just remember they didn't do well. But the televote. Oh, they got screwed by the judges. Oh, that's interesting. Waterloo, is that what won for ABBA? ABBA's great. I mean, ABBA's silly, but they're great. I love ABBA. I told you the funniest thing for me was going to Sweden, and they play ABBA everywhere. It's the funniest thing. Thank you, CJC, for the gift. It made me laugh because it's a stereotype thinking they're going to be playing ABBA everywhere in Sweden. They play ABBA everywhere in Sweden. I mean, I was at a bar, they were playing ABBA. We were at the political conference, they were playing ABBA. It was just the funniest damn thing, I love ABBA, but it just made me laugh hearing ABBA so much in Sweden. I was like, this is like an American's vision of Sweden. You know what I mean? Playing ABBA. So funny. But I do like ABBA. Yes, ABBA's great. It is great summer music. Yeah. All right. Oh, there's an ABBA museum in Stockholm. Oh my God, I would have loved to have gone to that. I had no idea. Oh, that's so funny. Oh God, I would have loved to have gone to that. That is funny. Bummer. Okay, that would have been fun. Just because. I mean, I wouldn't have known much about. I mean, I know ABBA the songs, but just the clothes alone would have been fabulous. The clothes from the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, oh God. Too funny. Oh boy. Oh. Yeah, Celine Dion. I knew didn't she win? I knew Celine Dion was there. I thought she won one of the years, didn't she? I thought she won. Or not. Anybody? She won for Switzerland. Really? She was playing for Switzerland? Was she like Swiss before she was Canadian or something? Or what was the deal? Or could she not get the Canadian one and the Swiss said, come for us? Or what? Well, that's interesting. I wonder how that happened. There's a documentary about ABBA on Netflix. I did not know that, Lat. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I want to watch a whole documentary, but it might be kind of fun, actually. I don't understand what you're saying, Gunther. Celine sent in a good wishes video message. Oh, she did this time, right? I saw a picture of her looking kind of skinny this time. Oh, Canada isn't part of Eurovision. Oh, so she sang on behalf of the Swiss. Oh, interesting. Interesting. My honest prediction of how the Ukraine conflict ends, it just keeps going, and the Russians keep slowly taking more and more land. The best scenario is that there's like a ceasefire and the Russians don't keep taking land. But either way, Ukraine's not getting its land back anytime soon. It's a mess, but hopefully the Ukrainians are still given enough weapons and stuff that the Russians can't do very well either. But and hopefully the problem is Trump's going to want to lift the sanctions. That's the problem. So that's a problem, It's called ABBA Against the Odds. Okay, I'll check it out. Or the Russian people rebel. Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting the Russian people to rebel anytime soon, but sure. Olivia Newton-John sang at Eurovision. That's funny. I liked her. I mean, she's a bit light, but all of her music in Greece was quite good. Some of her music is a bit, Xanadu. But I do like her music in Greece. I loved Greece. I thought that was I watched that thing a lot and I loved the music. I really liked Greece. Yeah. That was a neat movie. Australian. Yep. Tell me about stud. What the hell does that mean, Ash? Is Ashley talking dirty again? I don't know what the hell that meant. Oh God, that was funny. Tell me about stud. I thought, Laura, you saying, tell me about it, stud. Somebody said there was a big earthquake in Greece yesterday. We did hear that. Exactly. Tell me about it, stud. Oh, that's a quote from Olivia in Greece. Oh, I didn't remember that. Oh, I did not know that. That's very funny. My head is itching again. My allergy shots are driving me crazy. I mean, not my allergy shots, my allergies this year. They're not bothering me anywhere else, but my head's itching, which is annoying. Oh man. Yeah, the US didn't Oh, you're getting confused. I understand. The reason you think the US overthrew the Ukrainian government is you don't understand democracy. See, in democracies, you have to elect people. And if the people don't like it, the people can protest and then the parliament can step in and get rid of them. And in Ukraine, in a parliamentary system, the parliament can get rid of the prime minister or the president and get a new one. That's how democracies work. Elected officials can do that. Now, the point, of course, is that if you're, here representing Russia, then you're representing a dictatorship. And if you're representing a dictatorship, you might not understand how democracies work. You might not understand that bad people lose their jobs in governments and dictatorships. Well, they don't in dictatorships. That's the whole point. And this is why the Russians get so freaked out about Ukraine and the fact that Ukraine got rid of the Russian puppet back in 2014, because the people rose up in basically a democratic uprising, and the Ukrainian parliament stepped in and legitimately got rid of this guy. They followed the rules and got rid of him. The Russians hate it because Russia's a dictatorship. And what do you think it would do to Russia if a fellow Slavic country on their border that the Russians claim, because think about it too, the Russians like to claim that Ukraine isn't a real country, right? The Russians claim that Ukraine, I hope that person got blocked, by the way, on TikTok. The Russians like to claim that Ukraine it's actually Russia. Well, if Ukraine's actually Russia, if Ukrainians are actually Russians, and the Ukrainians were able to rise up and throw off a leader who is an undemocratic leader, a pro-Russian leader, then that means the Russians could do the same thing. That means the Russians could also rise up and overthrow their undemocratic leader, right? So it drives the Russians crazy that the Ukrainians were able to have a democratic uprising, because again, Russia doesn't want a democratic uprising. Russia's a dictatorship. So that's why you see the Russians and their lackeys always talk about America overthrew the government in Ukraine. Well, unless the Americans were 5 million Ukrainians, America had nothing to do with it. It was the Ukrainian people and it was the Ukrainian parliament, which is the second half of the story. The Ukrainian parliament actually got rid of him legally. And by the way, where did he flee to? Russia. What a surprise. But it is true, though. I mean, from a Russian perspective, what happened in Ukraine is terrifying. A Slavic country rising up and overthrowing a wannabe dictator, a pro-Russian dictator. Well, does that mean they could do it in Russia too? Yes, it does mean they could do it in Russia, actually. But that's what scares them so much. So there you go. Thanks for asking, troll person. I always got to warn my trolls. You never want to come here with Russian talking points because it presents me with an opportunity. Belarus as well, exactly, Paul. It presents me with an opportunity to tell you the truth about what's happening, and you don't want that. So, oh well. All right. We've been doing an hour and a half, guys. I think we're at the end of the show. Thank you. Effingham, Illinois. I've only driven through there, or almost. I've never gone in, but on the way down to Champaign, Effingham. That's funny. It was on the bus line. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us today. Thank you, JPT. I'm going to go. So tomorrow we've got our show at 6:00 Eastern, as always. See you guys tomorrow. Otherwise, Saturday, and I've decided, thank you, Lori, for the butterflies. And thank you, JPT, as well. Again, I've decided Saturday's watch party will be open to everybody. I didn't want to have it be just the subscribers because honestly, over 3.5 hours, there may not be enough of you. 3.5 hours is a long time. So we'll have the watch party be open to everybody on Saturday. So please do join us. I just put it on the TV or on the computer and we hang out. So, just come join us. I'll have the ads turned off of YouTube so YouTube doesn't get upset. And it should be fun. It's 3:00 Eastern time, US. I already set it up on TikTok and YouTube. If you go look, you will see I've got a scheduled live on Saturday at 3:00 my time, but that will tell you what time it is for you on YouTube, on TikTok, because it'll tell you your time there. You just go check my profile. It should be there. I don't know how it works on TikTok. Is it actually in my profile? The saved broadcast or whatever, the future broadcasts. I never quite know how that works on TikTok. And on YouTube, the same thing. You guys should have already gotten a notice. Let me look here. Where is that on TikTok? Now I'm wondering. It's there. Okay. So it's like there in the Aaron cracks me up. Aaron has breaking news. What a surprise. I like Aaron, but it's always breaking news, Oh, it is there. Yeah. It's right there. Yep. So you look at it and it says right there, live May 17th, 3 p.m. my time. So in your time, it'll say what time it is for you guys. Oh, Aaron's a good guy, though. I mean, Aaron fights for the forces of good. So, you know. All right. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all so much. Have a good evening. And I'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Breaking news. Sorry. Sasha's good. She is asleep. Oh, God. She figured out this. Check it out. She's on the couch. She's up and she's panting because she figured out that rain was coming again. My dog, you guys can see the head right here. My dog is like the weatherman. She can tell whenever there's rain coming, and she knows. So yes, she figured out rain's coming, so she won't lay down anymore. She's standing up. Let me find the forecast here. I'm going to guess it's going to start in the next. Oh yeah. It's not even raining right now. The rain is starting in 5 minutes. This is hilarious. Look at this. The rain is starting in 5 minutes. The dog knew. I always tell the neighbors about this and they think I'm crazy. She knew the rain was, remember, because she was fine the whole show. I let her in and out. She was cool. And now she's sitting on the couch, standing up and panting because she's scared. And it shows here 5 minutes from now, the rain starts. I mean, I've told you this before. Rayman, she's rain dog. I've told you guys this before. Well, it makes me feel bad though, because I'll give her a little bit of a pill because she freaks out. And like, I mean, she doesn't freak out, but she sits there in pants and gets so upset, and I just feel terrible. But yeah, it's supposed to rain all night until 7 a.m. Yeah, I'll give her a little bit of a pill. Because also, as they get older, they don't metabolize the pills as well. So I kind of don't want to keep giving her pills, but I'm going to give her a quarter of. She can take a half, but I'm going to give her a quarter. So, yeah, no, but oh my God, but literally, okay, now she's laying down at least, which is good. She is laying down, but her head is up and she's panting. It's like, oh God. Anyway, all right. I'll go get her a little pill. Not that that's going to help. Yeah, she's rain woman. Exactly. Rain dog. That's what she is. She's rain dog. Melatonin for a dog? I don't know. I've actually got trazodone, which for people and dogs both is makes you sleep. But for dogs, I was reading the other day, seniors have a harder time metabolizing with their kidneys and everything else. So you want to be careful. So I'm going to give her a smaller portion because I don't want to, have it build up in her system and kill her or whatever. So, but at the same time, this is not good, So, oh, hey, Vladislav in Italy, Joe. But I suspect you're Ukrainian. You're not Italian, are you? With a name like Vladislav? Although Paley, I'm not sure what that is. Interesting. But Vladislav makes me think Ukrainian. O sei Italiano. Anyway, ciao. I love Italy. I was just in Italy a couple months ago. I love Italy. I speak Italian. I love Italy. Love. My favorite country on the planet. Still love France. Still love Paris. But Italy might be my number one, I think. It probably is. Yeah. You are Ukrainian. Okay, living in it. Where are you in Italy, if I may ask, real quick, before we hang up? Ukrainian, grew up in the States, now living in Italy. Hate you. Milan? Okay. I've been to Milan, but I don't know it well. I tend to like the South, although living there, the North might be better. It might be a little less stressful. Like, I like the people in the South. Like, even going to Florence recently, the Florence area was a little serious for me. Rome was better, but I like the people of the South. But I think living in the South, I might be like, oh my God, nothing works, the uptight American. But anyway, Italy. Oh, I'm so jealous. Good for you. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. Have a good evening, everybody. Let me, Street Rat, write one last thing before I close down Discord first. Sorry, Street Rat's trying to type. There we go. Mac and cheese for dinner. Okay. All right. You guys. All right. Discord. Goodbye. that was what's it? Goodbye. That was, what's his face? Remember the Austrian guys? I saw him again. He's got a cat now. He was going through the Austrian Alps or whatever with his cat. And I was just looking at this cat going, oh my God, he's going to fall. And this cat is going to get smushed. But anyway, all right. YouTube, good seeing you guys. Guys.